Okay, so this video is still in chapter 5, and we're going to talk about muscle tissue. So we're going to talk about the structure of the three types of muscle tissue: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac, and compare the functions of each type and where they're found. All right, so the muscle tissue is specialized that when it's stimulated, the cells within it contract. And this contraction causes movement. So if we're talking about skeletal muscle, we're talking about voluntary movement. Cardiac would be contraction of the heart, and then smooth muscle would be propulsion or movement of material through, for example, the digestive system. The first type we'll talk about is skeletal. There's three types. Skeletal is striated, meaning it has kind of stripe-like appearance, and it's voluntary, meaning you can choose to flex your flex your muscles, okay? The skeletal muscle moves your skeleton, so it's responsible for movement. The cells themselves are long, cylindrical, and they're arranged in parallel bundles. So these muscle cells are arranged parallel to one another. Those muscle fibers are throughout the entire length of that muscle. The cells themselves are multinucleated, and again, I said they're arranged in striations by light bands, dark bands that produce underneath a microscope striations look striped. And it doesn't contract unless it gets told to by the somatic nervous system, so voluntary. Here is what it looks like underneath the microscope. So there you can see the striations there, the dark light bandings, and then this is showing you in green where the nuclei are located. A cardiac muscle is very specialized, specific to the heart. It's found in the middle wall of the heart, which is the muscle layer, the myocardium. And its purpose is to contract the heart to pump blood throughout the body. Again, just like skeletal, it has striations or stripes, but it's different in one part that we're going to talk about here. The cells are shorter, one or two nuclei, but the cells, this is the big difference here between skeletal muscle. They're connected via intercalculated discs, little pieces in between them that strengthen the connection between the cells. Because your heart cells can't get tired ever. They got to continually pump blood, and it's because of these intercalculated discs that they're able to do that. Heart muscle, again, different from skeletal muscle, is involuntary, meaning you can't tell your heart to beat, it just does it. There's actually a specialized cardiac conduction system or electrical system that causes your heart to beat. The pacemaker is in charge of that. Here's what cardiac muscle looks like underneath a microscope. These darker pink bands that I'm cursing over right now are the intercalculated discs. The purple are the nuclei, and it is striped, although you can't see it clearly from this image right here. And then it shows you, here are the intercalculated discs in green and the nuclei. Third type of muscle is smooth muscle. It is visceral or involuntary, meaning you don't tell your small intestine to move food from your stomach to your large intestine. It just does it. It's called smooth muscle because it lacks these striations, the striped appearance. The cells are spindle-shaped, and they're shorter with one central oval nucleus. Where do we find it? Walls of the intestines, stomach, in your airways, bladder, uterus, blood vessels, any hollow body organ that needs to move things through it, propel it. And you don't have any voluntary control. This is what it looks like underneath a microscope. This is the green highlighting the smooth muscle fibers. And then here's high magnification. Here we see the center nucleus, and it doesn't have any striped appearance to it. So these are the three types of muscles compared: skeletal, cardiac, smooth. This is a good place to go in your textbook if you just need a quick rundown or review of the skeletal, cardiac, and smooth muscle. So compare and contrast the three types of muscle. Do you know where it's located? What is the general appearance of the tissues, and what are the functions of these muscle tissues? Review that.